I'm Sheldon Neil, and this is Forum Headlines. Canada's top central banker says the economy will continue to need financial stimulus, likely until 2023. This with signs it could be distorting the residential real estate market. The Bank of Canada governor says there is a risk housing could get carried away. So in a pandemic and an economy on the edge, what can we expect from the real estate market? Here to help us unpack all of this and more is Alexandra Cote, real estate expert, lead at the foxteam.ca Real Estate, and voted the best real estate agent in Toronto since 2016. Alexandra, welcome to Forum Headlines.
Thanks, Sheldon. It's great to be here.
I love and have a passion for real estate. So when a story like this comes across, I love to jump on it. There are reports of an exodus from big city centers amid the pandemic by employees who no longer have to commute to the office. I'm wondering, is COVID changing the real estate market, where and how we buy homes? What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I mean, it's undeniable that there has been a shift in the market since COVID has become part of our lives. A lot of people found themselves in small apartments, living with partners and both having to work from home in 500 square feet. So moving out of the city was, a commute to larger space, in a sense, getting that larger home that works as the office space. So there was a bit of a reversal happening at the beginning, as well as a desire for people to have more space in general, as well as access to outdoor space where they could visit with family and friends, which was really the only safe way we've been able to see each other this past year.
Now, some are worried the Canadian housing market is rising at a rate that is kind of unsustainable. Some are nervous of a short-lived boom and then a bust once interest rates start to rise. I'm wondering, is this true? Are you worried perhaps?
Yeah, there's been a lot of alarming reports these first few months of 2021 with steep increases in prices. We're seeing that here in Toronto. People are hearkening back to 2017 when we also had a large appreciation out the gate. And in 2017, what happened is we had a bit of a government intervention as well as just a psychological intervention because the news media and headlines were just talking about this constantly. And at a certain point, it scared, buyers and there was just a stop. They found a place in the market that was the max that they were willing to pay. At the end of the day, we're not economists. There's so many things that are at play, things that could be contributing to the market, government intervention, changes in interest rates. I'm not too worried, in general, because there will be a point where the consumer puts up their hand and says, this is the most that we're willing to pay for this type of space, right? So these types of spikes generally are followed by plateaus. So it's likely, that would be my best guess what's going to be happening here. But really it's being driven by just a shortage of supply in a lot of markets and a lot of demand. So people are finding an increasing need to move still. A lot of people over the last year who weren't financially impacted were able to save considerably. They weren't spending on meals and entertainment, they weren't taking vacations, and they are getting tired of their four walls. So they're looking to expand and find more space.
I live on the border of really Canada and Buffalo, and numbers show larger, more distant homes are rising in value. And I see it in my area. I see for sale signs going up all the time and sold signs quickly following right after. And I'm curious, there's rising value, they're saying, in distant areas, whereas inner city properties are attracting fewer buyers and renters. I know you're at a property now, I believe. What are you seeing? And I know you touched on how long you think this may last, but is there anything maybe potential buyers can maybe gain as advice as they're watching this right now?
Sure. Definitely in the first half, 3/4 of this pandemic, people were really leaving the city centers. But it's interesting, we're starting to see confidence returning. So whereas, people we're going out to, areas like you, I'm sure you've got a lot of new neighbors from Toronto right now. Condo prices were remaining flat. It was harder to find tenants in city core. But now with the vaccine on the horizon, there is a confidence that's coming back to the market. And, in Toronto, we are seeing units that were sitting on the market for 2 or 3 months are now starting to sell in bidding wars. So, right now I'm at a condo that we're marketing, and we're very much expecting to receive multiple offers on this condo. So we're seeing a big uptick again in city center real estate, which is a promising sign.